Hello, my name is Tyler Frost, and today I will be discussing with you the research that I've conducted this year regarding internet gaming disorder and the influence of cultural orientation. This is a new innovative research area of cyber psychology that is being highlighted by the Victoria University Cyber Psychology Research Team that you can check out on Twitter at group_VU. I hope you enjoy this presentation. So exploring internet gaming. Well, digital gaming is a modern form of interactive entertainment that is described as any video game that is created and or interacted with through visual audio simulated interfaces. This includes internet gaming and is characterized by just a connection to the internet. There are currently 2.5 billion gamers worldwide that are accommodated through different types of games, including battle royale, massively multiplayer games, and RPG role-playing component games. The main goal of internet gaming, battle royale and multiplayer mode games is for gamers to enter the simulated virtual environment and defeat a large number of opposition players, teams or groups utilizing different tactics. This game mode has attributed much support for the mainstream popularity and success of internet gaming. So internet gaming revenue. Well, internet gaming has become an increasing profitable business in which promotes multi-million-dollar innovations and competitions. The internet gaming industry is set to increase to $196 billion by 2022. So the impact of the gaming industry and internet gaming disorder. Well, the increasing internet gaming industry has prompted research scholar considerations about the individual self and society and how it's influenced by the consequences of and effects of internet gaming. The importance of understanding the negative effects of excessive internet gaming has contributed to the creation of the concept of disordered gaming or pathological internet gaming. This led to internet gaming disorder being included into the DSM-5 by APA in 2013, and it consists of a 9-item criteria. Gaming disorder was also included in the ICD-11 by the World Health Organization in 2019. However, in this study, we'll only be focusing on the IGD symptomology in the DSM-5. Cultural motives underpinning IGD. Well, culture is any patterns of behavior that are transmitted through symbols or practices and are shared by common collective or social identity. There are two main dimensions and distinctions that we'll be focusing on in this study. The two main dimensions of culture are individualism and collectivism, so independent cultures versus interdependent cultures, and the distinction of verticality and horizontality, so unequal cultures versus equal cultures. So in this way, there are four main types of cultures. There's vertical individualism, horizontal individualism, vertical collectivism, and horizontal collectivism. Research has shown that a gamer's competitive drive against others in order to climb the gaming hierarchy attracts people from vertically individualistic cultures. Therefore, it's been proposed that gaming dynamics can link with specific cultural syndromes. However, there's not enough empirical evidence to explain why IGD prevalence appears to be high in more collectivistic countries, as there is a high support prevalence of IGD in collectivistic East Asian countries. There is also a need to develop more culturally efficient IGD intervention methods, and it's been suggested IGD research requires reformulation and refining. So therefore, the present study has adopted this recommendation from the cultural perspective towards IGD behaviours. So the present study's innovative contribution to current cyber psychology literature, it emphasizes the direct effect of culture on IGD, assesses 4 different cultural types of gamers, and compares the cultural profiles of gamers with IGD through an employed advanced accurate statistical analysis that identifies different subgroups within a population. This allowed us to create 2 different general research questions. 1, are there different typologies of internet gamers based on their cultural characteristics? And 2, if yes, how do these different cultural typologies of gamers associate with IGD risk? So the methodology, we used, for our participants, we used archival data, about 1,032 participants. Sampling methods include sharing the survey online through social media that was collected through Survey Gizmo. The different instruments, materials and measures we used were the plain language information statement that outlined the participants' ethical rights. Informed consent was provided. We had no risk of psychological or physical harm as we had no direct contact with the participants due to the archival nature of the data. We also used the Internet Gaming Disorder Scale short form to measure IGD and the Individualism and Collectivism Scale to measure culture. As a part of the analytical procedure, we utilized latent class analysis to identify the different subgroups of cultural internet gamers using RStudio. We also applied an independent samples t-test using SPSS to compare the differences between the latent classes in terms of their standardized IGD scores. We looked to answer 4 analysis questions. How many profiles are there? What are their proportions? What are the differences between the profiles? And what is the nature of the differences between these profiles? And what the results showed us is that all of our assumptions were assessed and deemed sufficient, and we had a 2-class model that was deemed as the best fit model due to an entropy level of 0.81. which therefore satisfied the acceptance level of 0.64. This means that the 4 main types of culture discriminate well between the 2 profiles and provide over 80% accuracy of cultural profile membership for each gamer. It was found that there was 11% of the gamers that fell into class 1 and 89% of gamers that fell into class 2. So there's clearly a minority of gamers, and class 1 was significantly less collectivistic than class 2, as it averaged half a standard deviation below for vertical collectivism and 2 standard deviations below the mean for horizontal collectivism. Both classes displayed similar individualistic characteristics. However, the second class actually displayed collectivistic tendencies that the first class didn't. Therefore, in this way, class 1 was labelled the collectivism adversive profile, and the second class was labelled the collectivism neutral profile. Upon inspection of the independent samples t-test, collectivism adversives consistently reported higher IGD scores than collectivism neutral. So the findings of this study included understanding that there were 2 types of gamers, cultural gamers, collectivism adversive and collectivism neutral. Collectivism adversive had higher IGD behaviours, including preoccupation, withdrawal, tolerance, etc. The findings propose that these cultural indicators discriminate well when informing cultural profiles of internet gamers. We also found that gaming motivations related to vertical individualism, which was heavily prevalent in past literature, might be present in collectivism adversive internet gamers, but the decreased need of group orientation and dependency is what separated the 2 classes in this present study from each other mostly. And this supports previous literature that vertical individualism cultural values are largely related to gaming motivation, but it expands on this by stating that it's also the lack of social connectiveness and collectivistic tendencies that may also contribute to the increased risk of IGD. Also, it's been highlighted that achievement and higher ranking may be important when considering IGD, but it's been found that loneliness, isolation, and social disconnection may associate with the onset of IGD risk. Therefore, in this way, further research is invited. Implications and conclusions. Well, the cultural profiles of gamers do occur among populations, is what we found, and are associated with IGD risk. Red flags for likely IGD risk: low connectedness, low dependency, and low social connection between different groups of families or communities. Individuals who are at risk of this should be prioritized when developing new treatments for IGD that are culturally specific. There are different types of treatments that have been proposed, such as cultural values modification or cognitive restructuring. And the findings of the present study actually confirm the psychological practice competency that's cross-cultural identified by the Psychology Board of Australia in regards to internet gaming disorder.